Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. I'm Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy this morning. Second hour of the program, Brett Pritchard will take my spot as I've got to travel the state again for another soccer match or two today, Scott. But what a beautiful Saturday morning. Great to get up here in the Lake Martin region and look out there and see it's not very cold. I tell you, I was braced last night. You've been on the road with us a lot, Scott. I'm getting old. My blood doesn't flow as good as it once did. And I was prepared for cold weather, but this is about as perfect a weather season as you can get for football, isn't it?
Yeah, and, you know, once the weather starts to change a little bit, then that usually means it's time for we're setting up for playoff football, and last night really was a good indication of what we'll see here in the next few weeks as Alabama gets ready for their playoffs. But, yeah, very good weather and, as you said, football weather.
Yeah, you know, and some of these games that we'll talk about is we'll run down the high school scores here in the first hour of the program. Phone lines are always open. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. You see it at the bottom of the screen, along with Bice Chevrolet, and we appreciate them being a part of our programming today. But, Scott, we'll start with our game last night. Benjamin Russell on the road at Pelham. Again, a beautiful venue there in Pelham, right on top of the mountain. Brett and I talked about it on the broadcast last night, and it's a good place to start. You know, a lot of these newer schools, not that Pelham's a newer school, but the facility and the build-out's newer, they look a lot alike. The thing that separates this Birmingham region from some others is the venues. Mm-hmm. Man, you're sitting up there, you get these beautiful sunsets that are going down as the games are starting. It does add an atmosphere to the game to see where some of these schools are sitting up there on the mountains.
Yeah, and, you know, that means something when we're talking about the arms race and all that, but everybody wants to have the best, and so if you've got the scenery to allow that to take place, to add a little more aesthetics to your environment as a home game, you know, that's good to have. But as you said, the Birmingham area does have a lot of great opportunities from a aesthetic standpoint to really do some things phenomenally from an architectural standpoint.
Great win last night. Wildcats win 27-0 on the road at Pelham to move to 4-4 overall on the season, 3-2 in the region. That was the 8th matchup between Pelham and Benjamin Russell, so that series is tied up 4-all. We had lost the last couple of times we had been over there. One time 37-12 and then another 30-20. So it was nice to go on the road anytime in our region and pick up a win up in that Birmingham area. We really played well defensively. They had 17 snaps in the first half of the game and only 18 yards. Caleb Spivey was a man amongst boys last night, especially in the first half. He was named our defensive player of the game last night. He had 3 sacks there in the first half, double-digit tackles overall. He's one that's only a sophomore, and he's got a ton of offers out there. But it's really fun to watch kids that age because it's true. You know, you give about 5 or 6 weeks, they grow in 5 or 6 weeks at 15, 16 years old. And he really does look like he's bulking up and getting stronger and playing with, you know, reckless abandon that you get when you get older and you get stronger. And very impressed. I'll start with him last night. When you get in games like that, maybe where the guys across aren't a potential college athlete, don't want to knock them, but when you get guys like that and you've got a college athlete on the defensive side, it shows. And last night for Caleb, it really showed there in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, even as a freshman, he was able to – you could tell that he warranted a spot to be out there. And in a game like last night, you really could see his athletic ability and his ability to get off the edge. And we haven't had that type of pass rusher in quite some time, but very active. And, I mean, you could almost say he could get it every week because of his ability to get behind the lines of scrimmage. But he set the tone pretty early on for the defense and for the game in general.
Well, I tip my hat to Coach Grider and his entire staff. We had an off week after a really bad loss to Helena. and we made some changes. We changed some things up, moved some guys that normally only play on the offensive side or the defensive side of the ball to the opposite side of the ball. And you could see from an athleticism standpoint, it helped. And I think that as long as you can stay healthy, it keeps you engaged in the game. You know, I for one, always love the opportunity to get to practice on both sides of the ball, where in the back of my mind, whether I made a bunch of catches or had opportunities to touch the ball on the offense, I thought I could going into the ball game. You know, I saw that last night, and I'll move over to one of our other big prospects. Cedarian Morgan, for the first time this year, got his opportunity on the defensive side. And, Scott, he was just having fun. You know, you could see him out there. He was loving the opportunity, and we moved him around, much like you would your best athlete on the defensive side. He found ways to get back in the backfield. Probably only had 10 or 12 snaps because we didn't necessarily need him to take more than that on the defensive side. But I like watching kids that like football. I love football. Always love football. And there's a different mentality for football players. Sometimes you can just be a guy that, I don't know, he's kind of soft. He's going to be out there. He doesn't really want to block anybody. He doesn't really want to do anything but catch the ball and make touchdowns. I like to see the ones that know the moment you throw them on the defensive side, they actually are having more fun than they were on the offensive side. So that was one thing that stood out to me before we get into some of our other players of the game. Just how much fun it looks like our kids in Elliott City enjoy the game when they get the opportunity to do some different things.
Yeah, and, you know, I think that some of us have kind of dreamed about what the defense could look like with Cedarian being on that side of the ball, and even Elijah at times, who played a little bit last night as well. But when you add that type of dynamic to a team, and so you can sit on the offensive side, like Cedarian's personality is, you know, it's energetic, and you know, people are drawn to him, and I think you can see that same type of attitude and intensity on the defensive side. But you look at his frame, and you mentioned it a lot last night. You know, when you have somebody who's 6'4", 6'5", 210 to 215 pounds, you just don't make those every day. So when you provide the type of athletic ability that he has, then put him on the defensive side to be able to make plays, like he did last night, it adds a different perspective and dynamic again to the defense.
Look, and we're no different than a lot of communities out there. We may have 65 to 70 kids dressed, and that's considering ninth grade now. And even, you know, when you get away from, when you get 20, 25 years removed, all of a sudden you're a lot better than you really were. You know, players were a lot better, coaches were a lot better, programs were a lot better, which in reality is a total joke. But one thing about communities like ours, when we're having to play, we got 650 kids in the top three, and we're matching up with programs that's got 11 or 1,200 in the top three. At times it works out. You know, you can play 22 players, 11 and 11 on both sides. But there's going to be 3 or 4 matchups throughout the season where good luck doing that. You got to only play 16 to 18 kids because 4 or 5 have to go both ways. If you really plan on giving that team across the way that's got more Bows and Joes than you, doesn't mean their Bows and Joes are better. They just got more of them. You got to put your best out there. And, you know, I tip my hat to Coach Griders. Not like he doesn't know this. He's been around it, and I'm sure he's done it. And I definitely understand the reasoning for not wanting kids to go both ways. But, you know, I also understand the reason that he did it last night, which is, look, man, I want to win. And if I want to win and my kids are embracing getting the opportunity to do things on both sides of the ball, my gosh, I'm going to give them the opportunity, and we're going to go in here and we're going to have fun doing it. So I thought that was great last night. We saw Caleb on both sides of the ball. We saw several linemen on both sides of the ball. All the offensive wide receivers and secondary flip-flopped all night. Caleb Robinson played wide receiver, caught a touchdown pass. Looked dynamic when he was out there. Calhoun, I can't say enough about LaJavius. I've been hearing about him since he was 6. Got friends of mine that were calling me saying, Randy, you got to come watch this kid run track. He ain't normal. And he is starting to become, and I'll kick it over to you with him, he's starting to become somebody that I applaud, because when there's that much expectation on you when you're young, just from an athleticism standpoint, sometimes it works out, but a lot of times it doesn't. He's got a lot of confidence. When he touches the ball, I don't care where he is. He had a highlight reel touchdown on a punt return last night. If you can find the block in the back, send it to me. If it was anywhere near the play and had anything to do with what he did, please send it to me, and I'll change what I'm about to say. But I didn't see it. It was thrown about 20 yards away from the play, but he made everybody, it felt like, on that kick coverage team miss him at some point. And it's not that he just did it that once. It's about every time he touches the ball now, I think he's about to take it to the house. Yeah, and I think that getting him involved in the offense really opens things up. That was maybe the one portion. Obviously, Sedarian is a big play target, and TJ can move the ball on the ground, but really didn't have somebody that, you could do some speed sweeps, a lot of motion with it. You could really do some things to impact the defense, similar to what Malcolm was able to do last year. Now you have that piece as a complementary piece to what you're able to do on the downfield threat, and it opens up things a lot. And, regardless of the level of competition, it was a little different than maybe what we've seen the last few weeks. But the plays that he's making, you can do a lot. And then when you have that confidence level at the position or at the quarterback position too with Elijah, you start moving some things around with him. You can have a lot of fun, and you add that with the play calling that we've seen with Coach Grider throughout the season. I think you could do some things that could get a little interesting as we head to the playoffs. Very good win last night, 27-0. We'll talk a few more minutes about it on the opposite side. We're up against a break. Our first one here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin, comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We are your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control, with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. Brett and I were on the road last night along with the rest of our crew to cover the Benjamin Russell versus Pelham game. Benjamin Russell wins 27-0 to move to 4-4 overall, 3-2 in the region. So do make the playoffs. We'll be on the road in the first round of the playoffs with Helena defeating Chelsea last night 38-28. So a good win by Helena is going to make them the runner-up in the region. And the game with Benjamin Russell and Chelsea next Friday night at the Sportplex will determine the 3 seed. Chelsea's had one of their, just a quick note back there, we're kind of echoing out here if we can get that. It turns my ears off. I'm having to repeat myself in my head. Thank you back there. But a 38-28 win for Helena gets them that runner-up, so they'll host the first round game. But very proud of our play over at Pelham last night. At times, it can be a very tough place to play anywhere up in the Birmingham area, and we really handled business well. Offensively, our players of the game last night, we'll start with our quarterback, Elijah Johnson. You're going to get tired of hearing me talk about him. Ceiling's exceptionally high for this kid. We can give him any time. And you throw one person at him, as long as there's not 3 or 4 back there on top of him, if there's just one, he's going to make them miss. He's a gamer. He was just on top of his game last night, moving around in the pocket, finding great receivers down the field and delivering passes to them, but also running the football. He can do that. Over 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, also had some rushing yards last night. So Elijah, along with T.J. Wilson, rushed 25 times for 138 yards and a touchdown. He was an all-state performer last year with 1,300 yards rushing, and he's well on his way again this year in his senior year. So it's a really good team. It's a good group of kids, too. Got to be fun to coach. We talked a lot about that on the ride home, and we'll kind of close out that game, Scott. Not every year that you have a good team is it a team that you go, boy, I bet I would enjoy being around them all the time. I mean, you can have great talent that make you want to pull your hair out of your head. You just deal with it well. I don't see that. This group right here has got to be a joy to coach. The coaching staff really does a good job with them. They enjoy being around each other. I don't see a whole bunch of prima donnas just pointing at me and not worrying about what else goes on. Sedarian easily could do that. I do think he's the top athlete in state next year, and everybody else thinks it too. And when you're that type of player and maybe you don't touch the ball a dozen times or something, then you can very easily go over there and sulk and pout around even when you're winning. I've not seen him do it one single time, which is a testament to him and his family. But it's a great team. It's a fun team to watch. We may not win all of them, but it is a fun team to cover.
Yeah, and, very similar to last year's team, the makeup of this group of guys is that they've been together their whole lives. They've all been playing ball together, and that translates to what you see on the field on Friday nights. But, as you say, may not win every game, but they're going to be a tough out. And I think that if they can start, I think the bye week, as Coach Ryder said during the pregame show, it came at a good time and was an opportunity for us to get some other guys involved and see what we have as we get ready to make the stretch. And, once playoff football happens or begins, you don't know what happens. Well, what could happen for your team at that point. So, it was important to get the win last night and get some more momentum heading on the back end of the schedule.
We've struggled special teams-wise from a snapping
Please talk
standpoint.
about that. I thought that was
last night, one of the key parts of the ball game was Colin Murphy. We would go into a semi-field goal setup when there was a punting situation, and we would, field goal kick the football down the field and allow for a roll to roll out, and it worked beautifully. At times we had balls pinned inside the 10-yard line. Even when we were way back in our territory, we were able to kick the football and move it up 40 to 50 yards up the field without worrying about the snap. I've never seen it, but it worked really well. Now, it's on film now, so we'll see how well it works moving forward. The reason for not doing that, of course, is hang time, good. If you do that to Calhoun for us, and I see it on film, I am begging you, would you please go back there and do that to Calhoun? If you can angle kick it to keep it away from him and get the rollout, what I just said doesn't matter. You keep the football away from him, ball rolls down, But if you get a Malcolm Simmons, LaJavius Calhoun type of athlete back there, then it may change. But last night they didn't have anybody like that, and it worked perfectly. And I applaud the coaching staff, and Colin did a tremendous job of taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and it was funny. It was like my algorithm had come to real life. I saw a TikTok earlier in the week about doing that. They were on on their own 15, and they kicked it, and they were saying, you know, in high school football, there's anything past the line of scrimmage is treated like a punt. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense, especially from some of the miscues we've been having. But a nice little wrinkle to add in to know that you can do that later down the line. But just overall, I think the Wildcats have an opportunity to have a little more fun the rest of the season. We did have a comment asking about the top 4 teams in the region. Is that who makes the playoffs? So yes, it is the top 4 teams that make it out. And so Benjamin Russell playing for a 3 seed next week.
Yeah, top 4 teams. Spain Park already winning the region, undefeated, great football team moving from 7A and that tough region down to 6A. So they're going to be a really tough out in Class 6A this year. They got lines of scrimmage. They got some skilled guys. They got a quarterback committed to Clemson. I think they got one of the best junior wide receivers in DJ Barber in the entire state. So good luck with Spain Park. Helena has had a really good year. The loss to Spain Park kept them from winning the region, but they do get the runner-up with a win last night over Chelsea. And Benjamin Russell and Chelsea will be 3-4 in the region. They'll play next Friday night at the Sportplex to determine that. So what does that mean? If you're 3, you play the 2 seed. If you're 4, you end up playing the 1 seed in the region that you match up with. Both teams are on the road if you're in the 3 or 4 seed. But I'll take my chances with a win going against the 2 seed in the region rather than the region champion. I mean, you win the region championship for a reason. Now, it doesn't mean every year we don't see 1s lose to 4s. Scott, we see it almost every year. But I'd say win the football game next Friday and let all things else. And this is a really good Chelsea team. They lose by 10 last night to Helena. This is one of the best Chelsea teams we've seen, and we got a lot of good friends over there, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's stay in region. Let's stay in our little neck of the woods and talk real quick, Scott. Horseshoe Bend, I want to start with them. 4th win on the season last night. Defeat Lynette 56-52. It's not the Lynette teams that we saw for quite some time. I don't care. Horseshoe Bend beats Lynette. It's worth noting and worth talking a lot about. And look, you know that coaching staff and you know that school as well as anybody. They have worked exceptionally hard. They've got a really good talent back there in the backfield that's keeping them offensively, having the ability to do the things that they are. But 4 wins on the season. And they make the playoffs with that win last night, don't they?
Yeah, with the win last night, they get their first playoff berth under Coach Jeremy Phillips and have an opportunity next week against Lafayette to move from a 4 to a 3 seed. They needed a little help last night from Ranburne, but Ranburne went down. If Ranburne had won, they would have had an opportunity to get a 2 seed. But just a culmination of a building process that Coach Phillips and his staff have been doing over the last handful of years. And heading into the season, we talked a lot about ball and scheduling, and he felt like the schedule aligned that would allow them to have an opportunity to make a playoff run, and for them to be able to get the potential to have a 500 season would be a remarkable year for them.
Wilson back there in the backfield, he can play at any level. Watched a lot on him. I've seen him. All you got to do is watch, just walk up to him, and you can see he looks like a college-level running back size-wise. And when you got a guy like that that's a good kid, you got a lot to build around. So Horseshoe Bend's doing that. Made the playoffs. Good luck to them as they get into the playoff run. I know we're up against a break, but Dave turning the corner. 28-0 win last night over B.B. Comer. Several weeks in a row of winning. Had a really tough start to Coach McKelvey's start there at Dable. But we know they've got some talent. They got to get their numbers back up. Not a lot of players out for that football team right now in the photo that I saw of the team, but they are playing much better football, and I had no doubt that they would because they take their football very seriously over there in the Dable area. I work in that area, and I'm proud to say that I think here in the next few years they'll have things turned around. It's not that they have to completely turn it around. They've been a pretty good program over the last 4 or 5 years, haven't they, Scott?
Yeah, and when you have a community or a program with that type of tradition and understanding of what the success has been, you know, they'll get around. And when you start seeing those same types of names like the Herds, and you start seeing, say, okay, we know we got some more coming through. So it's they'll be good. I'm ready for Coach McKelvey to get it going.
Phone number there at the bottom of the screen. If you've got comments on games that you saw last night, please call in here on the Saturday Sports Countdown, 256-234-6221.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank & Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. Let's run down some scores around the state. Let's start in 7A. Big win for Auburn High School, who's the #1 team in Class 7A, 29-14 over Carver Montgomery. Carver, we knew, had a really good team. Lost a heartbreaker last week to Central Phoenix City, where they took the lead inside of a minute to go. Gave it back to Phoenix City, and about 2 or 3 plays later, Phoenix City scores a touchdown, Scott. So Carver was handled pretty well, though, last night from start to finish by Auburn. Auburn's got a really good team over there. They're going to be a tough out. Phoenix City last night going down to Opelika. Opelika wins 23-14. I'm telling everyone that is willing to listen to my voice, you don't want to play Opelika right now. I watched their Enterprise game this past Friday, which, by the way, Van Riggs, Coach McCracken, y'all do a tremendous job broadcasting. And the television broadcast is really, really good there on NFHS. I applaud y'all for the broadcast because, unfortunately, in some areas when I pull that up, quality's not quite as good as what you see there, but it was enjoyable to watch last week. They manhandled Enterprise last week. They were up 17-0 at the end of the first. End up winning the game 30-13 with Enterprise scoring on the last play of the football game. But they knew they had that one in hand. And last night started the same way, Scott. Opelika got out early and stayed up early. They got the Bows and Joes they always have, but, man, they've embraced this physical nature that they're playing on the defensive side. And to hold Phoenix City to 14 points, who does that very often, Scott?
I think that's really where you can see the validation and all of the talk that's come with this team is defensively they're so good. And obviously they're going to be able to move the ball, very good at the quarterback position and the skill spots. But defensively, their front seven can make havoc and make it difficult for a lot of teams.
A couple other notes in Class 7A, just scores that jump out at me last night. Hewitt-Trussville defeats Oak Mountain 63-0. Not sure exactly. Oak Mountain's had a pretty decent team this year and have been in a lot of the games, but Hewitt-Trussville's got a great team as well. So a 63-0 win there. On Thursday night, this one was surprising to watch what once was Prattville, and the program that they had there for, 15 years, Scott, was unmatched outside of Hoover here in the state of Alabama. And right now they just struggle to stop anybody. And Hillcrest Tuscaloosa gets 53, win that football game 53-28. What a football game we had in Birmingham, as it is almost every year. Hoover scores within the last minute, kicks the extra point, defeats Thompson last night 27-26. Says overtime here on the scores coming in. Maybe it was. Maybe I just misheard last night. But nonetheless, it was a big win for Hoover over Thompson last night, 27-26. This is still a great Thompson team, but it's a Thompson team that is getting really good matchups. It feels like week in and week out against some of the best teams in the state, whereas over the last 5 or 6 years, not many of these games stay close. A lot of them are staying close this year, Scott.
Yeah, there seems to be a little more parity when it comes to the rosters, so that's making it a little more difficult for them. But great win for Hoover and getting things turned around back to kind of what we're accustomed to.
Let's move down into Class 6A. We talked about the first couple of segments. If you want to scroll back and check out our comments on the game last night, Benjamin Russell makes the playoffs with a 27-0 victory over Pelham. It was Gardendale over Woodlawn. Good Gardendale team, 40-14. Helena gets the win over Chelsea, 38-28, which gives Helena the runner-up spot and a host there in the first round of the playoffs. Benjamin Russell will play that Chelsea team at home next Friday night to determine the 3 and 4 seeds here in the state. Oxford, one of the biggest wins in the state last night. They hosted Clay Chalkville, and they get the win, 21-10, holding Clay Chalkville to 10 points. All you need to hear. Oxford's in contention. We knew that. They've got one of the best quarterbacks in the state. Came into the ball game last night with the most passing yards. Big old kid, 6'5", long, rangy, great player. But they hold Clay. The storyline's holding Clay Chalkville to 10 points last night, Scott.
Yeah, and we've been seeing it the last few weeks with Oxford, and you're looking at the scores, and you obviously see where they are in the rankings in the state, but not that many people take down Clay Chalkville and doing it in that type of fashion.
Pike Road wins another region championship, coming from behind last night against Russell County and taking it to them late. 46-14 win for Pike Road there over Russell County to, again, win another region championship in Class 6A. Saraland, good luck. 58-7 winners last night over Murphy. Anybody matches up there is just going to have a tough couple of first rounds if that's who you got to play. Spain Park's got, again, as we mentioned in the opening segment, got one of the best teams in 6A this year. I think I'd have to see Saraland. Spain Park's got a tremendous line of scrimmage. Offensive line, I just don't see offensive lines like that in 6A too often. It's a 7A, I'm guessing, line.
Yeah.
It's a 7A line that's moving down into 6A, and it shows when they're out there against 6A opponents. That's a great Spain Park team with a lot of pieces and a really good quarterback. 42-7 over Calera last night. Congratulations to Stanhope picking up a win last night over Rehoboth, 47-21. Wetumpka's playing well in Class 6A. Struggled the first part of the season. Win over Park Crossing, 42-9 last night. They're getting better. Bear Woods has got that program going in the right direction, I think. St. Paul's, a victory over McGill-Tulane, 31-3. Our matchup here for Benjamin Russell would be that region, so it looks like Saraland will win it. So if we lose next Friday night, we'll be on the road to Saraland, opening round of the playoffs. If we win next Friday night, if I'm reading this correctly, we'd still be on the road, but we'd be on the road to St. Paul.
Yeah, and that's coming from, Joe Blow, Scott Hardy. But I think I'm pretty sure that that was what was confirmed this week.
If we're off there, we have no problem with you calling in and cleaning that up for us last night. Central Clay County just beating people's brains in. Danny Horn, that group over there, when they get it going, when they get the run. By the way, their middle school is undefeated again this year. Every time we play them, unfortunately, right now they're beating us. But Central Clay gets a victory last night over Beauregard, 46-22. There's no end in sight of that program. They just they groom football players over there, and they end up playing football and they play it the right way. And there ain't nobody ever done it any better. It's just that simple. Danny Horn coached football as good as anybody in this state's ever produced, and he can build a culture around it too. And his son's back there, and the way that he calls offense makes it a lot harder to play him because you don't know when he's going to hit you for a 78-yard post pattern on the first play back after you score a touchdown to tie things up. That's not what they used to do. They used to just pound you to death after that, but now Chase makes it a little bit more difficult. But another win, another region title for Central Clay, who remains undefeated, 46-22 last night. Up against a break, we'll stay in Class 5A, run through 4A down to 1A as well, and give you a couple of more scores here around our local area and around the state as we come back here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
there's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at BamaSheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Just moved into Class 5A, talked about the region championship for Central Clay, continuing to move down the list. Demopolis defeats Jemison last night. It's a really good Demopolis team in 5A, as they are year in and year out. Got good lines of scrimmage and a great defensive tackle over there. Kyle Caldwell gets another victory last night for Elmore County over Marbury, 30-7, so a great program there. Hopewell wins in overtime over Valley last night, 27-21. It's a really good Montgomery Catholic team, probably one of the best teams from 7A down to 1A, maybe the best team in the state of Alabama when it comes to any classification. They went easy again last night, 50-14 over Greenville. I haven't lost in a long time. Have only really lost a game or two over the last 4 years that have kept them from extending that state championship. You know, they do get over the hump, though, last year and win one. Scott, that's the team that you point to. I know I've seen Central Clay with my own 2 eyes.
I was saying, I don't know.
I've seen both. I've seen Central Clay with my own 2 eyes. Montgomery Catholic not going to beat their brains in. That ain't happening. But I'd have to see Catholic, see how talented they are, because I looked at their scores, and they're just no close football games in the bunch.
Yeah, and it's like that's been, for 2 years, 3 years running. But I don't know when they potentially can match up, but that's a matchup that I'm salivating to be able to see.
Oh, yeah. If there's a high school game to go watch, if that one were to happen, and I think it's more of like a third round.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to think. I mean, there's some other good teams, obviously, in 5A, but I think that would be the determining factor.
I don't see any others. There could be. You can always lose, but I don't see any that match those two very well to me. Looking down this list, UMS Wright. Hey, look, I said the same thing last year, and then you play UMS Wright, and they're coached so well that they can come over to Clay County. Now, Central Clay had lost their running back, so it did have, that dynamic sitting back there, but they put together a defensive scheme that wins the game 7-0. So there are teams out there that are coached so well that they can win ugly. And so UMS Wright wins last night 30-0 over Alberta, and Winona closing out Class 5A, a 39-0 win over Hayden. Moving down into Class 4A, Cherokee County's got a great football team. Win 35-7 over Alexandria. That's a team to watch there in Class 5 or in Class 4A. Another good team to watch there in Class 4A. Again, as we say it every year, it feels like Deschler. Deschler 34-14 win over West Limestone last night to continue their strong play there. Hanley gets back on the winning track last night as they defeat Talladega 48-21. It was Hoax Bluff over Asheville 56-19. Mobile Christian, Justin Mosley, your alma mater, gets a win last night over Orange Beach 35-21. It was Plainview over New Hope 41-18 last night, and closing out a game with Alabama pitted against Florida. And that's one that I think we're going to talk a lot about in the next 2 or 3 years. Just not quite there yet is St. Michael Catholic. That's Gunnar Rivers, Philip Rivers' son. Philip's the coach down there, and they got a really good team. They defeat Pensacola, Florida last night, 38-37. Staying in our local area, a big win last night for Tallahassee, defeating St. James 31-21. Talked about Dayville, their win last night. A couple of wins here in the last few weeks. Really playing a much better brand of football. They defeat B.B. Comer 28-0. Fife gets their 600th win in school history with a convincing win over Holly Pond 61-18 last night. They get their running back. He was out for a couple of weeks. You look down at the scores for Fife. You go, ooh, Fife looks like they can be beat. I don't know. I'd hold up. That Clemson commit that's committed to play linebacker, that's at running back, is really, really good. And so Fife will not be an easy out once playoffs start. This is a big game. Glenwood and Lee Scott has always been a big game. They played for the state championship in AHSAA the last couple of years. Maybe more than that, but the last couple that I know of, Lee Scott has won both of those. Glenwood beat Lee Scott in the regular season last year, and Lee Scott comes back and wins in the championship game. They both moved to AHSAA, and Glenwood has had a run of it so far. Undefeated in the region, going to win the region championship, and they win convincingly over Lee Scott last night, 41-14. Glenwood got a chance. There's some really tough outs that may be difficult for them, but they're probably a lot closer than I expected them to be in year one, Scott.
Yeah, and just watching it from afar, my father-in-law is in the private school sector, and so we would keep up with Glenwood and Lee Scott and those teams in the surrounding area. And, excuse me, Glenwood, not that Lee Scott, I thought Lee Scott would be able to come in and compete, but Glenwood has been there consistently, obviously, with those two matchups. But good to see them having that type of success.
Yeah, having a lot of success, and they're in a neck of the woods where you can find Bo's and Joe's, and they'll find their way to your program. And Jason Caldwell told me a few weeks ago, he said, Randy, I went and watched Glenwood, and he said, I'm not talking about kind of big. We're talking real big on the lines of scrimmage. And when you're in this classification and you go real big from somebody that knows talent like him, they're going to be a tough beat, tough out there in Class 3A. Tough story that we saw a couple of weeks ago was the Dylan Embry kid. They called Dino over at Locust Fort, who was putting up massive numbers, had over 2,000 yards rushing already at the time, tears his knee. Out for his senior year, the last portion. So I'll continue to watch their games moving on, and they win last night over Walter Welborn 37-36. But, that's a tough loss for that program. Ohatchee's been really good this year, and they beat Glencoe last night 46-21. Closing out in Class 3A, Trinity Presbyterian defeats Wicksburg 40-0. So we'll move down into Class 2A, and we talked about it, but let's hit it one more time. Horseshoe Bend gets a victory over Lynette last night, 56-52.
They locked up the 3 seed. I did get correction, so they are the 3 seed.
Did lock up the 3 seed, so we'll not have to play the 1 seed on the road in the opening round. We'll have to be on the road for the opening round, but we'll play a 2 seed. 4th win of the season for Horseshoe Bend. Great run so far, and we're going to continue to follow them. I love keeping up with our local area teams, especially the ones that you just have the feeling that things are moving in a positive direction for them, much like Dayville that we talked about a little bit earlier with a 28-0 win. Lafayette does take down Central Coosa 48-8, but that's a Central Coosa team that won their first football game last week of the season. So maybe getting a little better, and got a really good quarterback over there at Central Coosa that can make things happen. That was our Lake Martin area athlete of the week this past week. A couple of other scores of note there in Class 2A before we close this one out. Pisgah defeats Gaston last night 58-6. Pisgah could win. No doubt about it. They could win Class 2A. They're that good of a program, and Reeltown will have a lot to say about that as well. If you got scores that you're looking for, if you've got games that you went out and saw last night or on Thursday night, please call in. Let us know that. We got one more segment here on the high school portion of the program, so we'll come back and we'll talk a few more minutes about the game that we covered last night, being here in the Lake Martin area as Benjamin Russell defeated Pelham 27-0.
The good guys at Alex City Marine are ready for your boating needs all summer. And now you can get up to $4,500 in rebates on our huge selection of new Landau Tri-Tunes and sacrifice pricing on remaining 23 models. Alex City Marine also has a new fleet of rental boats for fabulous days on the water. Whether it's service, new pontoon selections, or rental boats, see the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road in Alexander City or online at alexcitymarine.com. The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekend. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. One more segment here in the opening hour where we talk about high school sports. Again, Scott, it's a beautiful time of year. We've got the playoffs coming up, get a little chill in the air. There's a lot of excitement around some programs that maybe haven't had playoff runs in quite some time that get their opportunity to sometimes sneak their way in, sometimes just knock the entire door down and start playing better football. Those are the storylines that I enjoy. Yes, there's the programs out there that you expect to be there year in and year out, but the programs like Horseshoe Bend that haven't been in the playoffs in a while, that are playing better football, and you know that they're working exceptionally hard, working as hard as the teams that are going 10-0 and winning football games. You know, those are some of the ones that we talk about the most because the communities, not that the communities that are used to being there don't embrace it, but those communities really enjoy getting that opportunity.
Yeah, and, you know, it's sometimes you're a victim of location or, you know, the teams that you're matching up with where it's just, you know, it's difficult. And if you've watched Horseshoe Bend's transition over the last 3 or 4 years, they've had it tough where, you know, Reeltown was consistently going to be in there, and when Lynette was really rocking and rolling, and Lafayette was a tough out. And so, you know, it's good to see that, and that's what high school sports are about. And when you have communities as close-knit as a place like New Site and the surrounding area, you know, they deserve to have some of that type of success. And from a personal level, it's been a lot of fun to see Coach Phillips take this program to this level. When he first took the job, I told him, man, you know, if you can just get it to a playoff program, you'd be surprised what that would do for the community and the buy-in. And over the last several years, he's been able to do that. So congratulations to him as well as Coach Keeson as well.
Really good win last night, 56-52 for Horseshoe Bend over Lynette, and they do make the playoffs, and it looks like they will be a 3 seed. Next week will be huge for a lot of teams out there, including ours here in Benjamin Russell. We host Chelsea, and this is a really good Chelsea team. It's got a great running back and a lot of other pieces that are playing as well as I think they've played over the last decade or so. I can think of a couple of seasons where they had 7 or 8 wins, but they've got a chance to close this thing out with only 2 losses during the regular season. And the same for us. You know, it's very important that you don't end up being the 4 seed and have to travel on the road potentially at Saraland for that first round matchup. You'd like to have a chance in that first round to be the 3 seed and go to anybody other than Saraland there. With Lacey back there at quarterback and all the great players that they've got. It's not that you go down there expecting, but you know what's coming. It's kind of like Pike Road last year. Remember having the talk with a good friend of mine that's on the board over there at Pike Road that our kids play basketball together, and his son's a linebacker there at Pike Road, and he said, well, we got the good fortune of beating y'all in the 3rd round and what was a wonderful football game to travel 4 hours and get our brains beat in. And that's exactly what happened when they went down there. So matchups are so important in the playoffs. And sometimes the bracket just lines up to where, you know, things can go in your favor and you know that the matchups that you're about to have are a little better for you. So that's how important next Friday night is there at the Sportplex. We hope that we get a really big crowd out there. Chelsea will travel well next week, which is going to provide a little more atmosphere than we get from some teams that come into the Sportplex.
And it's senior night, too.
Yeah, senior night, and this is a really good senior class. So make sure to come out next Friday. It was a good win, 27-0 last night. Again, our players of the game will start defensively. We're Caleb Spivey, 3 sacks in the first half, 10-plus tackles, a number of other tackles for loss. Only a sophomore. I think he just keeps getting offers. I don't know how many he's got. Feels like about a dozen of them now. Auburn and Oregon being 2 of the biggest offers that he's got. He plays better and better. He's a wonderful kid from a great family. So he's one that you want to cheer for. You know, if he goes out there, he's going to represent your community exceptionally well. On the offensive side of the ball last night, T.J. Wilson had 138 yards rushing and 1 touchdown, was the player of the game. On the offensive side, to go along with Elijah Johnson, who had over 200 yards passing, 2 touchdown passes, ran the football well, ceiling's exceptionally high. And the storyline last night was Coach Grider giving some guys an opportunity on the offensive side to play defense and vice versa, some of the defensive guys to play offense. Back and forth, much like we see in some smaller classification football. And when you're one of the smaller 6A schools trying to compete with some of these monsters that we compete against, I made mention in the opening segment, sometimes you can play 22. And probably 6 or 7 weeks out of the year, if you got a good team, you can get away with it. But those 2 or 3 weeks where you're matching up with great talent, it ain't going to work. It just doesn't work long term. It never has around here. Anybody that says it has, they ain't watched as much football as you and I have over the years. So love seeing Cedarian and some others get an opportunity to play on the opposite side of the ball, and I think it's going to make us a lot better as we move forward.
Yeah, and just honestly, it felt like Benjamin Russell. Like, that feels like Benjamin Russell football, like having guys play both ways. Like, it's just an understood thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, with different styles of play now, there are more plays being run on offense, so you do want to be, you know, cognizant of that from the defensive side. But when we get ready to start playing some of these tougher teams in the playoffs, you know, maybe not consistently, but maybe how we saw Malcolm some last year, where they may use him in some specialty situations and he comes in and gets a game-winning sack and strip to win a game. And so I could see Cedarian being somebody who comes in making those plays. And, you know, Elijah almost got a pick last night too. So there's an opportunity for some guys to really do great things. And then Caleb, too, has really come along as a receiver, honestly, as somebody who they could really use. So saying all that, I think the Wildcats are coming together, and the bye week came at a good time, and hopefully they take care of things against Chelsea next week.
We talked a lot about Class 7A, and we'll kind of finish up this opening hour there in Class 7A. Your thoughts, Scott, top teams that you've heard, seen there in Class 7A. I'll start. I don't know that there's 2 teams better in Auburn and Opelika. Opelika's lost 1 football game to Auburn that they led 21-14. Auburn scored 2 late, win 28-21. Auburn's got a tremendous quarterback in Jackson Kilgore. Omar Mabson back there at running back, he's only a junior. We all want him. Auburn wants him bad. Keith Etheridge's got a running back. I've called a whole bunch of state championship games that Keith Etheridge has coached in. He got a running back. I remember Trey Nation at Leeds. And when he had him, you were going to have to go through a bull back there. He was a great player. And he got one over there at Auburn, and they play a physical brand of football. So that's two of the best teams that I've seen there in Class 7A. There's some others that are going to make some buzz moving forward, but it's going to be a fun run in 7A because I don't point to anyone, including Phoenix City, where I go, that team's way better than everybody else.
I think that's the biggest difference is that the parity is there where we haven't really seen it as much. It's really been top-heavy, one or two teams, Thompson and Phoenix City. But now we've talked about it. Auburn has been there. They just haven't been able to get over the top. And Opelika, we felt like had the talent level but saturated in that region of a gauntlet of teams there, but really doing great things, and that was a really big win for them.
256-234-6221 is our phone number. I'm going to step aside here in the second hour. Brett Pritchard will step in, talk some college sports. Auburn and Alabama football will be the hot topic today as Auburn's got a game that's kicking here at 11, and it's a must-win game if you expect anything out of this year on the road at Missouri. So I'm sure that will be a topic of conversation and whatever you'd like to talk about. Again, 256-234-6221 is our phone number here on the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Foshie's Watts on Dable Road in Alexander City is always making improvements, making it bigger, like making their pellet ice a 10-pound bag for $2. How about their biscuits? Have you tried their biscuits with regular cheese or hoop cheese with sausage and ham and salmon, and throw an egg on there, and you got a happy person. And don't forget about they have propane and wood. That's Foshie's Watts, Dable Road, Alex City.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Gorees Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
GMC SUVs, GMC SUVs. On sale now at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. The GMC Terrain, the compact SUV with seating for 5. And now discounted up to $6,500 off. The full-size GMC Yukons, discounted up to $9,000 off. Choose from almost 200 new GMCs. Get your best price every day on the lot or online at glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.
Randy exits out, I come in. Scott, good to see you this morning here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. I know Auburn Network on radio takes over right now as Auburn about to kick off at 11 o'clock. So we lost our radio side, but we still have our TV and our social media out there, and we appreciate everybody tuning in here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. I know you guys covered high school pretty well there in the first hour. Just things taking shape, in high school football. And, again, it was a good night last night for the Wildcats on the road coming off a bye. I won't belabor that. I know you guys talked a lot about that in the first hour. But it was a good win for us, and it was good to see a rejuvenated team. And I thought the bye came at a great time. And I hope that bye came at a great time for Auburn as we head into the college segment of the show. I hope Auburn coming off of a bye and not a good start to the season, a 2-4 start to the season. We're hoping that this will get things started for a good second half. Look, you got to take things for what they are right now. And if you're an Auburn fan and if you're a football player on that team, Scott, you got to look at this and go say, we got an opportunity to – we know we self-inflicted a bunch of wounds in the first half of the season. And now we got a chance to go out and if we play mistake-free football, we got a chance to win all of these coming down the stretch, and including Alabama, because Alabama's no world beater. They got some really tough games ahead of them coming up, and I know you kind of grin, but it's the truth. I mean, look, and they've been on a 3-game stretch that, they lost one and won 2, but they've been fortunate in the other 2. But, again, they're very talented, and you expect them to kind of do that and pull that out. But they have a tough test on the road today at Tennessee. Of course, Tennessee, they're no world beater either. I just think there's a game in Austin, Texas today that might determine who might be the best team in the country with Texas and Georgia. And, again, Georgia hasn't played the best football either. I mean, they've played at times halves that look good, but not sure they've even played a complete game yet. Do you know a team, that really has played like Oregon? Would you consider it to be Oregon? Ohio State lost, so you can't really say that. Scott, this thing's really up in the air right now.
Yeah, and I don't think that there is just hey, this is the best team, but Texas probably would get the nod from me, but a lot of that will get settled tonight and over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Did y'all get to these comments at all in the first half of the show?
We about the region and.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I know sometimes it may get a little bit. Yeah. You get a little bit. But so I wanted to just kind of tell everybody to continue to send your comments in on Facebook and YouTube. We appreciate it out there. But I guess we'll start with Auburn, and hopefully we'll get Luke in on the phone with us as always on Saturday morning. And it's a big game here at 11 o'clock for Auburn, not from a record standpoint, not that this is some marquee matchup, but Missouri has had, coming into the season, was a top-ranked team. And they're still, number 19 in the country. They really were exposed at A&M on a couple of different levels. Look, I don't know that anybody's really bought into Missouri yet. This game has dropped down to a 3.5-point favorite for Auburn. For Missouri, it started at 4.5. Some even have it down to 3. So that means the money's going toward Auburn. And I think people know that Auburn's really not a 2-4 team. Now, again, your record's what your record is, but this team should have 3 more wins. Let's be honest. If you go out and don't really just blow your feet off, you're a lot better than what your record shows at this point. So I think everybody's sitting on the edge saying, can Auburn get this turned? Did they get some things changed? Are they mentally prepared? Going on the road to Missouri at 11 o'clock is not a daunting challenge. Usually the earlier games are a favorite for the road team. And, look, I don't think Missouri has many better players than us. I would think our roster, I said this on the Auburn Blitz this week, Scott, I'm not trading my running backs for theirs. I'm not trading any of my receivers, even though Luther Burden's there. I'm not trading what we have for him. Brady Cook, yeah, I'll trade. Yeah, I'll probably trade my quarterback, and that might end up being the difference maker there. But defensively, I think we've stepped up and we've played a lot better. So, Scott, just kind of your thoughts there from a standpoint. That's when we compare teams and you go, would I take mine and go play with theirs and vice versa? I wouldn't trade many.
No, and I mean, I think one of the more talented, if not the talented roster in the country is Georgia, and I think Auburn matched up as well as the team could against them. So I don't think that Missouri is in the same class as that roster or even a couple other rosters we've played this season. But saying that, it is a must-win for a lot of different reasons, and you don't want to be hyperbolic and say things like must win, but because it gets overused. But it is for Auburn.
Well, it's a must win if they're
standpoint
going
to maybe try to see if we're going to get things over, for a bowl game, and how that impacts recruiting. Because we are recruiting well, and we're getting. I mean, obviously the recruiting is going fantastic, and they understand the messaging that's coming from the team. But you do want to see some of that correlate to success, and I think a lot of that too, some of the guys that we've been asking to have some more featuring in the offense, probably you'll start to see a little more of that post-bye week.
Again, it's a must-win in the fact that if you want to start going in the right direction, it starts today. You know, you go up there and you lay another egg, you turn the football over, you don't play well, you kind of look out of sorts coming off a bye week, really begins to start questioning, or you begin to start to question, really what the organization's doing at that point. Now, again, can we go up and play well and lose? Yeah, you can, because Missouri, I still think, when you look at their results, maybe they haven't really put a full game together. You hope they don't today, but they know the last time they played a formidable opponent, they got their doors blown off, and they're going to be in front of their home fans, and they know if they want to have a chance at a playoff, they're going to have to win this game. So look, we're not walking into a situation where, I think we're just going to go up there and line up and run over a team. They're a good football team. They're ranked where they were for a reason going into the preseason, and they only have one loss. So, but I think it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. But Auburn has got to – if Auburn could go on a run right here and they could win the next 3 ball games, and it's 3 – decent teams, but not great teams. I mean, Missouri, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. If I could get those 3 on my schedule every year, no matter where I am as a program, I'm taking that in this league. I mean, we looked at it and saw that as a very big opportunity. Well, here we are. The first half didn't go the way that any of us wanted it to go, but you got to erase that, and you got to look forward. And if Auburn could somehow – now, are they going to go 6 for 6? I doubt it. Could they win 4 or 5 of them? They could. And now you're looking at a winning season at that point, or at least a 500 season and a bowl game with a chance to have a winning season. So, but it starts today, Scott. You can't lose today and then expect to try to do anything from that point. So, from that standpoint, there's a lot riding on this game today. So, all right, we're up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
105 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. 145 Alabama Street in Alexander
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill, Sunshine Heating and Air. I've come to the conclusion that there is nothing easy anymore, right? I mean, I'm sorry, man. You're about to. I mean, if you could just go ahead and let it out, Scott, instead of letting your eyes pop out of your head trying to hold the laugh in. But I mean, seriously, nothing in life's easy.
It's not,
I mean, it just doesn't go the way that you want to go. But again, a comment in the first hour you wanted to address?
Yeah, we were just we're talking about the drop kick, but yeah, Mike, I think that's pretty cool, and it did come across. And again, we're just talking about from a strategy point how that could be beneficial down the line, especially with some of the struggles we've had with our special teams. But good win last night again for the Wildcats. And to the question about Dayville and getting a playoff berth, not sure if they'll get the 3 seed, not sure how that matches up with a win, but I do think that they have an opportunity to make the playoffs if they win next week.
Yeah, so they got 2 wins on the season now, and that's yeah. I mean, look, credit them, because at the beginning of the year, not very competitive at all. Now they've again, Chad McKelvey's not gonna. He's going to work hard to get his program to where it needs to. And look, it's going to just go up from here. So, but again, if you still got some comments and questions, Tony said I don't know if y'all addressed this, last game scheduled at Foshee Anderson Stadium is next Friday for Stanhope versus Wetumpka. All the home games next season will be played at 17 Springs. So that new facility, he said, again, I know they're excited down there, and in that community, a lot of new facilities. Look, we were in Prattville this past week, the renovation for Stanley Jensen Stadium. We were over there for the game of the week, and didn't obviously turn out the way Prattville wanted it to, but they're getting basically a complete facelift to Stanley Jensen, and we're fortunate enough that we don't have to build a new stadium here in Out City, but we're getting a brand new track-only facility. So most of these stadiums, they have to incorporate the track into the football complex because of funding and stuff like that. Well, with us already having a beautiful stadium here at Martin Savarese Field at the Sportplex, we get an opportunity building this new school to build our own track facility separately. And, that's going to be something that we haven't had in this community. So we're excited about this. There's a lot of things going on in school systems all over the state. And you can see the ones that understand, hey, and they're partnering with cities, like Prattville's partnering with their city, and 17 Springs, the same thing. And, it takes that. And in the Sportplex and the combination of the agreement that went through with how we ended up with the property at the Sportplex and working with the city and everybody being on the same page, let's just be honest. Those communities are sending messages around the state that they're moving forward and they're providing the best opportunities for their kids and their employees, and those that aren't getting talked about. Yeah. So right now, Benjamin Russell is one of the few schools. I know Moody's out there, and there may be one or two more, but one of the few school builds going on in the whole state right now. And I think we may have the biggest school build project outside of Gulf Shores. I think Gulf Shores is formally started at this point, and theirs may be a little bit more than ours. But for the most part, this school that we're building here in Alexander City is going to be second to none. The facilities are going to be outstanding. And look, Scott, we're less than a year on the time frame at this point now from us being in that building. So, or those buildings, period, that complex. So that's exciting. Didn't mean to stray there, but I know we wanted to hit up some of those comments there from the first hour. Back to the college side of things. Let's talk about Alabama for a second before we try to get Luke Robinson on in the next segment. Tennessee, this has always been, as all of us grew up, one of the bigger rivalries in the Southeastern Conference. This was Alabama's Georgia. For Auburn, Auburn, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee seem to be the two alternate rivals for our programs. But Nick Saban owned Tennessee. I know they won a couple of years ago, but you can see what Josh Heupel's doing, and he's turning their program around. And I think everybody was ready to crown Tennessee a top contender. Then they go to Arkansas and lose. So they're just still not to the level that we saw when Philip Fulmer was there 20-something years ago. And now you look at it, they've got another great opportunity being at their home place, having an Alabama team that's still a really good team, but not maybe as formidable as they have been over the last several years, and an opportunity for them to say, look, no, we're a playoff contender too. A lot of these games, like for Missouri and Tennessee and even Alabama, there's a lot riding to look at Georgia, Texas. I mean, if Georgia were to lose today, gives them two losses against two outstanding teams. But, now your playoff situation looks a lot more bleak than it did. Not saying you can't get in, but, two losses, you creeping up there on the edge with the number of teams out there that are performing well right now.
That's the thing. And so I think there was this concern about would it take away from the regular season. No, I think now it's even more pertinent that you win because you want to have higher seeding or trying to get that home game. But I think that for Tennessee, this is a game where they can show that they are a legitimate contender and a program that's not going to be, unstable or not inconsistent in their ability to win big football games. And if you're Alabama, the last 3 weeks, as you mentioned, very well could have been 0-3 in those games, and what would we be talking about right now if that was the case?
Well, you're talking about a collapse. Coming off the greatest run in college football history, possibly in the modern era, and maybe of all time. And your guy comes in, and if he were to have lost 3 in a row, there'd be such a nuclear meltdown in Tuscaloosa right now. I don't think anybody be talking about anything other than that. But I think that's what makes everybody apprehensive. That's an Alabama fan, is that they dodged a couple of bullets, but they've also gotten beat by Vanderbilt on the road, and they all know in the back of their mind that there could have possibly been 2 more losses there. And I was on Gary Harris's show yesterday, and they understand this, and they know this is probably the most important Alabama-Tennessee game for Alabama in 15, 18 years. Because it's a program identifier, maybe. Because Nick Saban really, outside of that loss a couple of years ago up there, which was very close, and they still had, maybe a questionable PI at the end of that game that kind of gave them the loss or gave Tennessee the opportunity to win the football game. Now they're going up there in the hostile environment. They don't have Nick Saban there. This is not a Nick Saban-led team. So there are a lot of eyes on how does Alabama handle a very tough game on the road. They played Georgia at home. But this is a tough game and a rabid fan base in a very difficult place to play on the road. And this will be Kalen DeBoer's really first experience of going on the road in the SEC. Now, you can't count Vanderbilt. Even though Vanderbilt beat them, you can't count Vanderbilt as one of those tough places to play, Scott. Tonight's going to be an eye-opener for Kalen DeBoer and how his team and how he's able to handle this on the road.
Yeah, and I think that if he didn't understand, he understands now what it is that it's going to require for them to be successful. But, a loss for Alabama
puts them in jeopardy of not making the playoff.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It gets a little more difficult. I think Georgia could lose.
They could.
And it'd be a little bit different.
You got other teams in the SEC right now. A&M's performing. LSU's performing. Alabama's got to go on the road. There's still a lot of football going to be determining. And if Alabama steps up and they win those games on the road, they're absolutely a playoff team. So this thing could go in either direction. But, again, for them today, if they were to go up there and stumble and not look good and get beat, and it's going to create more doubt in the direction of the program. And, unfortunately, that's just the way of the world. It's about what you're doing for me lately, not what's been done in the past, and that goes for anybody. All right, up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Eating and Air. Let's go to the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline and welcome in Gary. Gary, you're on the Saturday Sports Countdown, buddy.
Yeah, Brett, can you give me the scores of St. Paul and McGill-Tula?
I sure can. I looked that up last night. Scott, did y'all not cover St. Paul McGill-Tula?
We went over the scores this morning, but we could have missed that one.
Yeah, I think St. Paul's won that game pretty handily. Gary, let me pull it up real quick. It was St. Paul 31, McGill-Tula 3.
Okay, I was wondering about it because I'm getting a 16-3.
No, it was 31-3. I knew it was a pretty convincing win for St. Paul's. You know, St. Paul's barely lost to Saraland last week.
19-14, I think.
That's correct. So
I got two grandkids play. They sophomores in St. Paul.
Well, there's a chance. There's an opportunity that Ben Russell and St. Paul's match up in the first round.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be a good football game, I think.
Yes, it would.
I know you'd be excited about that, Gary.
Oh, yeah, I'd be excited about it. I sure would.
Hey, it's good to hear from you, brother. Appreciate
It's good to hear from y'all. And Roll Tide and War Eagle.
All right, good to hear from you, brother.
Thanks,
we
Gary.
appreciate you, Gary. Thank you so much. Have a good Saturday. All right, and let's go back to the phone lines and the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline. I'll just keep rolling on. Got our good friend Luke Robinson from Parts Unknown out there. Never know where Luke's going to be, but always joining us by phone on Saturday. Luke, good to hear from you, buddy.
Hey, good to be here. I'm back in lovely Birmingham now.
Okay, you're not in some dog fighting arena out in Salt Lake City, are you?
No, but it sounds oddly kind of more fun than what I was doing.
Well, Tuesday night, you were just sounded a little sketchy where you were, but glad you made it home. And let's dive in. Alabama with a big football game on the road. This will be – I know Alabama went to Vanderbilt, but we all know that you don't really count Vanderbilt as one of those environments on the road. This environment tonight in Knoxville is going to be the first real experience for Kalen DeBoer on the road in the SEC.
It's definitely going to be something different, and I know he's been to Oregon where it is known for being kind of crazy, but this has double the number of fans at Knoxville that Oregon does. So, I mean, it's going to be even that much louder, and it's just the SEC. You got to get used to it. It's not something that anybody can just tell you about. You've got to go and experience it. The good news is that while some of Kalen DeBoer's teams in the past have underperformed during games where his team was the big favorite, he seems to always perform very, very well when it's supposed to be a tight game. So hopefully that will hold true this particular time, too, for Alabama.
Let's talk about that. It's not a night game. It's a 2:30 game, but it's still the environment's going to be, raucous, like you said. And Tennessee and Alabama both know that, a chance at a playoff berth really rides on this game. Both teams are 5-1, 2-1 in the conference. You look at Tennessee's last couple of games, they haven't been pretty either. They lost to Arkansas and really squeaked out one against Florida, a lesser-than Florida team. You look at Alabama's last 3 games, it's very similar. They played a really good half against Georgia, and then Georgia kind of played, a good half in the second half, and Alabama loses to Vanderbilt. And Alabama squeaks one out at home against the South Carolina team. They were 21-point favorites over. So a lot of similarities coming into this football game. What's your thoughts, Luke, on the keys to winning this game for either team?
Well, I think defense is certainly going to play a big part. And I think the ability, whichever team's quarterback and offense overall, I should say, I shouldn't just lay it at the feet of the quarterback. Whichever team's quarterback and offense on the whole gets the most amount of confidence the quickest is the one I think will win. Nico Iamaleava, I know I butchered his name. I have for years now. I'm not going to stop now. He is incredible when he's on, but he hadn't been on these last 3 games. In fact, he's been kind of off. And Jalen Milroe, also incredible when he's on, and he's been more steady than Nico, but still there are a couple of plays, specifically against South Carolina and Vanderbilt, where he could have done a little something different and been better. he's still got room for growth. So I think whichever offense can maybe get going and get a drive together. Both these offenses are pretty notoriously quick strike. I mean, they like to hit you for the 75, 80-yard plays. The problem is they hadn't been doing that these last few games. They just hadn't come to fruition. They've had the opportunities. It's not like they've played the 85 Bears for 3 games in a row. They just hadn't been able to put it together. And that goes for Tennessee and for Alabama. But I think the one that can establish itself and put its identity back out there for the world to see more quickly, I think that's the team that's going to win.
And I want to talk about the hopes of a playoff berth for the team that loses this game, either one. Is either of these teams, the one that loses, are they out in your mindset of a playoff berth? I know there's still a lot of football and things could change, but a 2-loss team in this league, and there's some teams maybe overperforming like a A&M, maybe an LSU. I don't know if they'll continue on those paths, and I know Alabama will play LSU, so there's a lot that still has to be hashed out. But when you kind of get up in that 2 to 3 loss range, you start to be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I think that this is certainly not an elimination game. I think a lot of people are going to label it as such for marketing purposes. But the truth of the matter is, if you lose this game, if you're either one of these teams and then you win out, I feel like you're probably in the playoffs. I mean, because that win will include a win over Georgia. If you're Tennessee, I mean, Alabama's already got a win over Georgia, but it will include a win over Georgia if you're Tennessee. If you're Alabama and you lose, then then your win total will include wins at LSU, at Oklahoma, which isn't as pretty as it once was, but it's still a big deal. A win over a Missouri team that, depending on what happens with them against Auburn today, could be still in the top 10 when it happens, and a win over Auburn in the Iron Bowl. So I feel like whoever loses is certainly not out, but it just makes things it's a steeper climb. There's no question, and you're not necessarily in control of your own destiny. But I said this at the very beginning of the year, that if you're Alabama or if you're Tennessee, if you're Georgia, I'm trying to think who else. I really threw Ole Miss in the mix, although, boy, the prospects of their going 10-2 seem to be fading rather quickly, considering they already have 2 losses. Maybe LSU. If you're 10-2 and you're any of those teams, you feel good about getting in the playoffs. I mean, I don't care if all those teams are 10-2. I'd feel good about them getting in the playoffs because you look around the country, and I mean, do you think the Big 12 is going to get 2 teams out of that conference? I don't think so. Do I think the ACC is going to get 2 teams out of that conference? I don't think so. And I know that you have 5 conference champions, including the Power 4 and then the Group of 5, but then there's 7 open spots. And if there are 4 SEC teams out there, what if Texas ends up being one of them? What if Georgia ends up being one of them? I may have said them earlier, but I think, all those teams will have a really good shot to get in.
Well, before I let you go, Luke, got to ask you about that game in Austin, Texas. That'll be the nightcap tonight at 6:30. A lot of eyes on that football game. Is Texas going to separate themselves from everybody and continue to be undefeated, or will Georgia step up and go get a massive win on the road? And, Georgia still hasn't played a complete football game yet this year, and Texas got Quinn Ewers back last week, and it was a little bit of a slow start against Oklahoma, but ended up winning that game going away. I'm excited to see how this game plays out.
I think it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm leaning Georgia just because they've been there before, and I know that's recency bias. I mean, is my thinking, okay, Georgia's sort of like the modern day Alabama, and every time somebody counts them out and they're underdog, they end up kicking butt. But I think that also glosses over the fact that Georgia's got some issues. I mean, their defense, they lost a ton of people the last couple of years. I mean, it's just like they remind me of Alabama in, say, either 21 or 22, where you lose a bunch of people to the draft year after year after year after year. And, you hear so much about, hey, you don't rebuild, you reload. And that's true, but you can't substitute the experience a lot of those people had. And then the experience that their backups had. And so it wouldn't shock me either way. I'm leaning Georgia only because I kind of even want Georgia to win, because if Texas comes in, beats Georgia at home, and then just cruises to an undefeated SEC season, I don't know that I want to hear the rest of that. You know, I don't know. I want to hear it from them. And so I'm kind of pulling for Georgia, I guess.
Yeah, they kind of carrying the banner for the old school SEC, and Texas trying to make a big horn-sounding introduction to the SEC by trying to go undefeated, which is crazy in this day and age. But, Luke, some good football. Again, this is 2 weeks in a row that these 2 weekends are phenomenal. Great games all day today. I know everybody's excited about that, and all eyes will be on those games a little bit later on. I know Auburn kicks off here in just a little bit. So going to be a fun day of college football. We appreciate you being on the show, buddy.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all have talked about it, but I got to watch a lot of the Alabama basketball exhibition against Wake Forest last night. Alabama put up 98, and they were missing 4 players who were going to play a lot, and one of them being Grant Nelson, one of them being Latrell Wrightsell. I mean, they were missing some dudes, and they won by 20-something and put up 98. This is going to be a fun basketball year, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of talk about that, the preseason poll came out, and Alabama's 1, Auburn's 2, and Kentucky's 8. It's just really just crazy to look at where this thing is. And if you look at the Ken Palm, I think Auburn's 3 and Alabama's 4 or something like that. And both these teams are both Alabama and Auburn have shown the college basketball world in the last 5 to 7 years that they're not going anywhere. And they have the 2 best programs in the conference, and I firmly believe that. And I love it. I'm glad that we can kind of hang our hat on that. I mean, Auburn's got a loaded basketball team. If you saw a little bit of the tip-off from Toomers and saw what Ja'Kai Howard did and his leaping ability, and, you know, Auburn's got 10 seniors, which is almost unheard of. I mean, this is going to be maybe one of the better basketball seasons any of us have ever experienced, Luke.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I was super excited, and, you know, I was in Birmingham last night and got to see so I didn't get to go to the game, but I got to see a lot of people who were either going to the game or just excited about it, and it looked like a great atmosphere. I mean, a good idea to do it in Boutwell and to raise some money for a charity, and it was just a really super idea, and it's good to have something to look forward to like that.
Luke, appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
All right, guys.
Thanks so much. All right, up against the break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Thunderbolt Light Footage Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekends. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SCC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Announcing Camping World's Inflation Buster camping program. You can now get into a new RV starting at just $98 a month. We won't let the economy steal your camping season. Take advantage of this very limited time offer and lock in your low monthly payment today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left in the show this morning. Again, great football games. Auburn going to be kicking off here in a couple of hours, just a little bit over 2 hours away from kickoff between them and Missouri. That game, again, a must-win, I believe, for Auburn to try to get things turned around. And Missouri is a 3-point favorite in that game, so we'll kind of see how it all plays out. And just real quick before we get into that last segment and we go down the rest of the games for today, Scott, your thoughts on this game for Auburn? The silence may be the most definite thing. Hey, that may have summed it all up. That may just have said, well, that's all I've got to say about it. So
no, I think, man, I haven't done that in about 15 years there. I think that Auburn is in a position where we're saying it is must win, and it is. But, again, as a fan now, I really don't have much expectation for the rest of the year. I just want to see that we're getting better and the games aren't being mishandled and we're doing things that are self-inflicted and we're making mistakes or not making our reads or missing time, whatever it may be. But if Auburn is able to win this game, and you talk about the 3-game stretch, if you get these 3 wins, obviously starts today, but if you can get those 3 wins, now the outlook of the season changes tremendously. You don't know what's going to happen with A&M the rest of the year. You can get a win there, and then the Iron Bowl, if depending on how the season is going, that could end up being a winnable game for Auburn, where you're looking at 7, maybe 8 wins. Or not, 8's going to be tough. But if you could get to 7 wins after what we saw at the beginning of the season,
well, you're going in the trajectory of the program is what you're looking at.
And and I know y'all have probably talked about it. It's not really directly about the game, but do you still try and go get somebody in the portal next year?
What?
At the quarterback position?
Do you think?
But I'm just saying with
yes.
All right.
Well, unequivocally, I think that's already been kind of a given, and kind of, I won't say that's leaked out of the program, but excuse me, I think that's Auburn's going to go get a portal quarterback. They have to, and again, you hope Walker White develops, and if you hold on to Deuce Knight, he'll be a freshman. But look, you got to go get somebody that's got some, not just experience, but a winner. Somebody that has been a winner, wants to come in and play with the pieces that are going to be around him in this program. And Auburn's going to, if they keep everybody, it's going to be a very talented, seasoned group. And you're getting a portal quarterback for sure. So again, when you look at it, the numbers, Brady Cook does not turn the football over very much. Only 1 interception. Noel runs the football at 471 yards so far, and then Weeze has 407 yards receptions. But Jarquez Hunter, more yards rushing. KLS, more yards receiving. So Auburn has positives. They have guys, if you took their best and our best, we have an edge, except for – and Peyton Thorne, the interceptions stand out, but he's thrown 10 touchdowns to Cook 7, and the yards, not much at all. It's about 100 yards difference in total yards passing. 1,238 yards for Peyton Thorne, 1,360 for Brady Cook, so a little bit over 100 yards difference. So, look, play clean football.
I think that's
clean
it.
Football.
That's it. When Auburn hasn't turned the ball over, they've looked really good. And so if you can maintain that consistency of playing mistake-free football, especially on the offensive side, and really utilize what we believe could be the best receiver room moving, down the line that we've seen in the conference in a very long time, I think that this is a game where Peyton Thorne could thrive. I really do feel like he could.
I'd love for him to have his best game as an Auburn Tiger.
I think this
today.
could be one. This could be one.
All right, up against the final break of the show. One final segment coming up right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
SignSource is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Final segment of the show here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. I think our monitor went out here in the studio. But, again, we're going to wrap it up here with games around the country. Michigan at Illinois. Michigan, they're defending national champs, but off to a 4-2 start. Just not the same team they were last year. And they do have a 3-point they are favored by 3 against Illinois. But Burt has Illinois playing good football. I know he's glad to not be at Arkansas anymore.
No joke.
But finally has Illinois playing good football, and so that'll be one to watch at 2:30 today. Texas A&M at Mississippi State. The only team that has performed worse than us in the league is Mississippi State. 1-5, 0-3, 15.5-point favorites. A&M. I think A&M takes care of business.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, South Carolina at Oklahoma. This is interesting because I don't think anybody really knows a lot about these teams still. I mean, South Carolina could easily had a win over LSU and a win over Alabama. How much different are you looking at South Carolina if they're able to pull those wins off? They didn't do it. Oklahoma probably has 2 more wins than they should have. You know, the Auburn game was a gift, and so again, I don't know that when you're only a 3-point favorite at home over South Carolina, it tends to give everybody the thought process that these teams are even.
They got about 1 more year, and it could be dumpster fire city.
I'm telling you, man. Brent Venables is not the right fit there. Maybe Heupel they go after.
I think he would ultimately want that job, but he's got it going at Tennessee.
Yeah, but I mean, go home and he can. You don't think he can
bring
do the
that,
same thing there? I mean, all right, Kentucky at Florida. Woo. I mean, I think that point line has shifted in favor of Kentucky. Now, it started at 0.5. I mean, when was the last time you saw somebody a half-point favorite? I don't know that I've ever seen it. But anyway,
that'll be
I don't know how to – I mean, Kentucky hasn't played very well.
Yeah.
And then Florida, we know what they're dealing with. So that one – that'll be crazy. LSU at Arkansas. I think LSU better be on the lookout here. I mean, Arkansas has already proved that they can knock off a formidable team in Tennessee. You know, LSU, outside of the hiccup against USC, played pretty doggone good. A big win over Ole Miss last week, and they carried the momentum. They're a 2.5-point favorite on the road there at Arkansas. You going with an upset with Arkansas?
I like Arkansas in this one. Being at home, I think, makes a difference. That game last week, a lot of emotion coming in from LSU, a little hangover for them. So I like Arkansas.
All right, we'll start with Auburn at Missouri. Auburn, again, is a 4.5-point underdog. Initially, I think it's dropped to 3.5, depending on where you're looking. Missouri has dropped to 19th. They were in the top 10. But that thrashing by Texas A&M has the doubters out for Missouri. Do they rebound at home today and keep their playoff hopes alive with Brady Cook, or does Auburn start the turnaround for the second half of the season? Do they come out and play mistake-free or minimize mistakes and go out and play a solid football game? I don't think Auburn's played a solid four-quarter game yet.
No, they
almost
haven't.
Against Oklahoma.
Yeah,
but still, the fourth quarter was a collapse.
I don't. I think this is a game where it'll be similar to a few years back, where it's going to be kind of a lower scoring, maybe first team to 20 type of game, 23-20, 24-21 type of game for Auburn. Every time I think we're going to score a lot of points on the team, it doesn't ever go that way. Right. So I'm gonna say that, but I do think that this is a game that Auburn gets a W.
I said 28-24 on Auburn Blitz yesterday. I hope that we're both right. All right, Georgia at Texas. Does Georgia get this one done on the road? Man, their playoff hopes become bleak. And, you know, all of a sudden, in a little bit of a rumble in Athens, if they were to lose another game and then play the way they've played in some of the other ones, maybe some of these off-the-field issues are creeping into this program.
I've got to go with Cam Ewers in this one. I know Luke did make a great point about Georgia kind of being accustomed to this type of environment and type
Texas
of game,
but
Texas is ready.
Yeah, Sarkisian will have them ready. Yeah, I'm riding with Texas. And okay, finally, Alabama at Tennessee at 2:30 today. What's the result?
My feelings are that I really want to see Alabama lose this football game.
Well, you want to see that every week.
But Alabama probably gets the win today, you know, a 38-34 type of game probably.
High scoring.
Yeah.
A lot of points.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to be interesting, man. Look, slate of games, sit back, relax, get you something on the grill. Beautiful weather outside. Another great week of weekend of college football is about to be on tap. So, again, I want to thank everybody for joining us here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. We appreciate all of you that tune us in every week. We'll be back with you next week for another full week of Sports Blitz programming. For Scott Hardy, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
Landowners, farmers, and landscapers, it's time to fall back this fall at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor on Highway 280 in Alex City. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor has the year's best terms on almost all our Mahindra tractors. Now, get up to 84 months of 0% financing on Mahindra 1600 to 4500 series tractors. And package up with all your implement needs. Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor also has 0% financing or up to $1,000 rebates on most 24 Spartan zero-turn mowers. The rates can't fall anymore at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor.
Ivy Creek Healthcare is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
As the heat of summer fades and cooler temperatures come calling, we look forward to that feeling of fall. It's the perfect time to be outdoors with family and friends and a great time to be alive. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sutherland, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.